Hey, welcome to the shop. I thought I would do a video that was less sled specific and more around twin charging. It's sort of a controversial topic. If you look on the internet, there are people that say it's dumb. There are people that say it's great. There are different manufacturers over, kind of engine history that have done it with success and some without. And so I just thought I'd talk a little bit about if you're thinking about doing twin charge, kind of what I've learned so far. And, this is my first year with this particular project. I hope to do, learn more next year as well. So, all right. So I created a little, about 6 rules that I thought would be useful for people. Number 1, set what your minimum boost is going to be. So that would be, in my particular case, I knew that my motor would run 12 PSI on 91 octane. I just used the highest octane I could get out on the trail for this particular snowmobile. And so I based everything around that. So my minimum boost was 12 PSI. And then also set your max boost. That's rule number 2. What is your max that you're gonna run? So in my case, I'm gonna go with 29 PSI boost, basically max out my 3-bar map sensor. And that's about the limits of my block. So you can do it by octane limits, or maybe do it by the limitations of your motor. And again, a lot of that, there's been enough motors and enough modifications and enough hot rodders out there. You're going to get a pretty good idea just by doing some searching and asking some questions. So then number 3 was the biggest learning. It's when you have a supercharger and you have a turbocharger and you want to run 12 pounds of boost, how much should each one give you? And I couldn't find an answer to that anywhere. So my first go out, I did 12 PSI out of the blower. Was thinking the turbo would just kind of act like a nitrous bottle. I wanted the max boost on the supercharger, and then when I really put my foot in it, or in this case my handlebar on it, I would get the max boost from the turbo. That didn't work. It basically is running around with a wastegate, in my case dumping straight out of the header. Loud as heck, didn't work, wouldn't control it, the boost would run away and spike right to 20 pounds of boost. That what I learned was you want to try to half it. You want to try to have your turbo in boost and your supercharger in boost. And so for me, I've got a pulley combination on the supercharger that'll run about 6 to 7 PSI, maybe up to 8 at really high RPM. And then I can fill in the gap with my turbocharger. I want that in boost at my minimum boost setting. That's the key rule there. And you can roughly say 50% from each, call it a day and move on. Okay? So that's rules 1, 2, 3. Now, number 4 was another big learning. The wastegates and the intercoolers, they act and need like a much larger engine. This was a 1-liter motor that is running with a single 38 millimeter external wastegate, properly flow, everything. There's 0 restrictions there, and it's not enough. It will not exhaust enough gas. When you have that supercharger making boost, it's just too much energy through the turbine. It acts much, much larger. So I'm going to add a second 38 millimeter gate and to help control mine. If I had to do it over again, I'd probably go dual 44s. Honestly, you really can't have enough wastegate when you're doing twin charge, especially when your supercharger's fixed and you're using your, like in my case, a Motec engine management to run and control the boost solenoid to control the boost. And you really want good, accurate boost control. And you're only going to get that with a lot of wastegate. So double your wastegate, double your intercooler. What I have found is that my IATs or my intake air temps spike much, much faster than they ever did when it was just turbocharged or just supercharged. They really ramp up quick. Everything with compound boost when you're twin charging. I'm in series here, so I've got a turbo feeding a supercharger. I'm not in parallel, so it compounds. So 3 from that plus 6 from this equals 12. It's a compounding effect, and everything compounds. So the boost compounds, the intake air temp compounds, everything goes up at a much higher rate, and it's really super easy to heat soak the intercooler. And it works in my application mainly because it's in a snowmobile. It's in frozen weather, completely exposed to the elements, and so I can have what I would consider barely adequate intercooler doing and intercooling what I need it to do. So, but on your project in summer, if you're going to run that on a car or motorcycle or something like that, whatever you think you need, say you want to make 500 horsepower, put 1,000 horsepower intercooler on it. Not even joking. You're going to want to do that right out of the gate. The next thing is rule number 5 is exponential boost curve and octane. If you're trying to build a system that runs on 91 octane, don't look at twin charging. And the reason why is the exponential compounding boost factor, like I keep talking about, is fun. It's really fun. I've never had boost come on like a compound boost setup. It's hard to not want to just hold your foot to the floor, in my case, the flipper to the bar, and just really go. You know, it's really, really fun. So if you're trying to limit yourself to 91 octane, I would just, my rule is be ready to add more octane. You're going to want to run race fuel. You're going to run methanol injection, some sort of way to keep the motor happy and live at high cylinder pressures, because the boost is fun, it's addicting, and it makes motors do things that I've never seen the motor do on its own. So be ready for that. And then the last rule, number 6, when you go out to tune it, I wouldn't do any of this without a programmable engine management system. I'm using a Motec on this particular project, but go safe, go safe, go safe. And what I mean by that is my snowmobile runs 42 degrees of timing. And when I got a map from a turbocharged motor, same thing, same everything, same decompression, everything. And they had pulled out 2 degrees of timing. So I thought, oh, I'm going to pull another 2 degrees of timing. That puts me at 38 degrees with and a blown motor had I done that. If it wasn't for a amazing response from people on the internet helping me, they're like, you need to be in the teens for timing. And boy, were they right. And so whatever you think you need to pull for timing, pull it all. Get down in the mid-teens or lower and go safe. You can go too far, but mid-teens on almost any motor is going to be a great starting point. Add it back in once you can get to a dyno or a place where you can find that MBT limit, with spark, and where it stops making power, and you can back down from there. So go safe on that. Same with fuel. I think you need 5%, add 20%. Because you just can't dump enough initially. And then go out, try to run 12 PSI or your minimum boost, and make sure everything's happy. Make sure that you can mash that gas, get exactly the boost you want, and dial it in, add back in your fuel or take fuel out, get everything happy there, and then start cranking it up, and then start going and use, in my case, I'm using a 4-port boost solenoid to, control my turbo. So it's with the flick of a keystroke, I can add more boost, and that's what I recommend people do. Go safe, go safe. Get that first outing successful. Learn from it. There's gonna be so much more you never even thought of, and that by going safe, you can live another day. So this snowmobile made it through a maiden voyage. I am not a tuner. I have never had a Motec. I have never done anything that crazy in my life when it comes to engine management, and without the help of a lot of people, it would have been fried and pretty much instantly. So be careful, but have fun. They are so much fun. Once you get it figured out, get it working right, get your boost under control, get your compensations and your ECU working so that it pulls timing, pulls and adds fuel when it sees high intake air temps, all that fun stuff. Get that working. It's fun. So hope this helps somebody. Next year, I got a whole new pile of maps I'm going to be learning with and trying and different things on this. So I'll just keep sharing what I learned, and hopefully it does somebody some good at some point. So, all right. Thanks. Take care. Keep wrenching. It's worth it.